Hi, I'm Marty, and this is Cooking at the Kraus House. Today we're making chicken curry. It is so delicious. It's spicy, but you can control the spiciness depending on how much curry paste you put into it. And I have some fast and easy secrets to make it a dish that you can think of an hour before dinner and have it ready for your family. It is super delicious, and I think you're gonna love it. So I use a whole bag. This is 1.5 pounds of these baby Yukon Gold. You can use bigger ones, you just have to cut them up more. So I like these because there's a lot less work. Also, I use about 2 carrots, or sometimes if I have in my fridge, I just use those that are already diced into medallions, and then you can just dump them in because that makes it super easy too. This is curry paste. Now, if you're like a pioneer or something and you want to make your own, I think it takes like 3 days to make it, but there is a recipe where you can make your own, or this is honestly the most delicious stuff I've ever used. And the thing that's great about it is that you can freeze it, because how often do you eat curry and you're never going to use the whole thing all at once? So it freezes really well. I know that you can buy it at the restaurant store. It's called the Chef Store here where I live. Or you can also buy this online, which is super great. And it came and was just like, it wasn't ruined. And we live in, where it's super hot, but it came, and that's the first place I bought it was on Amazon. And then I saw it at Restaurant Depot, Chef Store. And then also it has onions in it. So you've bought yellow curry before and it has big slice of onions. I don't like that, but I don't mind chopping them tiny and sautéing them so they're not as noticeable. But if you are an onion lover, just do those big slices, and we're still gonna sauté them. And then it also has about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and you add that right at the end, and it kind of sweetens up the hot part so it's not quite so spicy. Also, if you're not a super spicy person, use less. And then we need a tablespoon of oil to saute our onions and to cook our chicken. I used 2 of the most gigantic chicken breasts I've ever seen. And you also need a can of coconut cream. Now, you can use coconut milk. It's probably gonna save you a few calories, but this is like deluxe. If you want it to be super creamy, sweet, delicious, go with the coconut cream. But if you don't like your guests as much, use coconut milk. And then the other thing you need is about a cup and a half of broth. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret. The original recipe has you slice up all your stuff and cook it and simmer it forever in your pot. But I am the queen of Instant Pot. And maybe I don't want to take hours to make dinner. So I slice up my carrots into medallions, or I use the pre-medallion ones, and I cut all my little potatoes into bite size. I usually quarter them, or sometimes like this is super tiny, so I might just half it. Put them in here, and I put in about a cup of chicken broth and about a half a cup of water, no spices or anything, and I just cook it for about 15 minutes. Now, while you're cooking up your chicken and getting everything ready, by the time you're done with that, your potatoes are done, you pour it all in the pan, simmer it. It's unbelievably fast. You can have dinner in probably about an hour, and it is so delicious. When you're slicing your chicken, I'm just going to tell you a little secret about it that makes it super easy. And if you go somewhere and you buy curry, do you ever notice how it's in those lovely thin slices, and you got your chicken and that's super hard to cut? Maybe my knives are dull. But anyway, one of the ways that makes it easy is if you have your chicken frozen and it's only partially thawed out, because then you can cut it in super thin slices. Look at that. That's gonna be perfect for our curry. So that's the secret. Keep it partially frozen, and then you can cut it in as thin as slices as you'd like. It's a good trick. Okay, we're going to cook this on a little bit higher than medium. I'm going to add my oil and give it a second to get hot. Then we're going to add in our onions. And you'll notice I'm doing this in my Dutch oven. I'm telling you, you can cook just about anything in your Dutch oven. On top of the stove or in the oven. It's so versatile, and it's a great pan to have and to use. So we're just going to cook these for a second. Cook them until they start to smell. Until they start to smell good. If you think onions smell good. And by the time you're all done with this, they'll be so soft and tender that if you're not a huge onion fan, you probably wouldn't even know they're in there, because I sliced them up pretty tiny. All right. The next thing we're going to add is the chicken that we sliced up thin. And we're just going to cook that until it's cooked. Probably about 3 to 5 minutes, I would say. All right, normally we wouldn't cook this all the way through, because we would simmer it for an hour or so to make sure the potatoes and carrots were all the way cooked. But since we quick cooked our potatoes and carrots in the Instant Pot, we want to make sure that there's no pink left in the chicken. We want it to be all the way done. Nothing's worse than having your guests go home and be sick after they had dinner at your house. All right, that looks good to me. Doesn't look like there's any pink left. So the next thing we're going to add is our paste, our curry paste. And we're going to stir that until all the chicken is coated with it. It was 1/3 cup of curry paste. Now remember, you can add more if you're a super spicy person, or if you have little kids and they don't love spicy, then you can put a little bit less. Probably should have put less, because my husband does not like super spicy, but I do. So when it's all pretty much coated, the next thing we're going to add is our carrots and potatoes. And we're going to stir them so that they get all of that spicy goodness on them too. All right, the next thing we're going to add is our broth. And then we're going to add our coconut cream. Now I want you to kind of see how that is. It almost looks like shortening on the top, but it's not. And don't be scared when it looks like that. You can see when we pour it in, it's super creamy. But it does look a little tiny bit scary when you first open your can. Then we're going to combine all of that. Okay, then we're not adding our brown sugar yet. We're going to add it at the very end. But once we've got that all kind of mixed up, we're just going to let it simmer with the lid on for about 10 minutes. All right, it's simmered about 10 minutes. Look how delicious that looks. Give it a little stir. And then we're also, now that it's the end, going to add our brown sugar. And this kind of keeps it from, I don't know, it kind of changes the spiciness of it. Makes it a little bit sweet and spicy. It's not a ton of brown sugar, but just enough. Just stir that. And it's finished. That's all there is to it. You just cook some rice, dish it over, and it is so yummy. Your family will love it. You can adjust the spiciness after you've made it once. You can see if maybe you'd like it a little more or a little less. Either way. You can put more potatoes or less potatoes, or you can adjust it however you want to. And I think it will be a hit when you serve it for dinner. And it makes up pretty quick if you put the stuff in the the Instant Pot first. It goes so fast. Thank you for watching. So grateful if you did, and if you learned something, please remember to hit the subscribe button and the notifications. Leave a comment, try it, let me know what you think, and we'll see you next Monday.